ambushed. Number 3, do as I say, not as I do gate. Brad Blakeman, former appointments assistant to the president, was also a previous head of the organization calling itself Freedom's Watch, whose agenda included the effort to enact tort reform to end frivolous lawsuits. Mr. Blakeman has now filed a lawsuit against the producers of the movie Swing Vote. He says that the movie and some of the marketing idea was his idea, and that he shared it with actor Kelsey Grammer, who was in Swing Vote, and that Grammer swiped it, which is interesting because Grammer's rep says his client did not join the project until after it had been written. And that man described the lawsuit as, quote, frivolous. Number 2, Anthrax Gate. The idea that the FBI and the Bush administration are somehow covering up what really happened by blaming it on the late Dr. Bruce Ivins creeps more and more towards total plausibility. The Murdoch Street Journal reported that the flask containing the so-called Ivins anthrax could have been accessed not by 10 people at Fort Detrick in Maryland, but by more than 100. Now the Washington Post reports that the supposed exact genetic match between the Ivins anthrax and the anthrax that showed up in the victims, that same genetic match shows up in the anthrax in 15 other labs. And number 1, how about asking the Iraqis gate? Never mind what Bush, McCain, or Obama want about American troops in Iraq. How does and what does Hoshyar Zebari say? He is Iraq's foreign minister. And he has kind of a surprise for Mr. Bush and for Mr. McCain. The UN Security Council authorization, which the president keeps reminding us permits us to be there, expires at year's end. Mr. Zebari says his government is close to finalizing the direct agreement with the U.S. that will replace him, or replace it rather. The goal of the president and Senator McCain, a U.S. presence for the foreseeable future, may be extended nearly into perpetuity. Only one big detail is yet to be worked out before the Iraqi parliament votes on all this next month: a timeline for American troop withdrawal. You mean a general time horizon, Mr. Minister? Some aspirational goals for exiting? No, he says. Definitely there has to be a very clear timeline, decided on by the end of this month, like right before the Republican convention begins. Oops. Just say oops and get out.